So today I'm going to be talking about how to be that girl but a student edition. So I'm really into the whole that girl content, that girl trend at the minute. I really like it and I follow a lot of like that girl creators. I wanted to talk a bit about it as a university student and how you can fit some of those ideas around being that girl, healthy habits, routines, working out, eating healthy while you're a university student. I've seen quite a bit of it to do with sort of younger students like in high school on TikTok. So that's why I wanted to come at it from a university perspective. And yeah, let's get into some tips and how-tos. So first of all, let's talk about goals. So I think something about being that girl is, you know, striving to achieve your goals, doing things for yourself, not caring about what other people think. And so something I think with goal setting is to be realistic. So for example, when you're a student, especially in university, you might need to look at your timetable and see what you realistically have time for in terms of your goals. So if your goal, for example, is to work out more, you might not want to start by working out every morning if, say, you're a medical student who's on placement, because that's just not realistic for you. Instead, your movement goals could perhaps be more around walking to class or doing afternoon at home workouts or working out maybe like 3 times a week. Also, if you're a student, your goals might have to do with being a student, so you might need check-ins for the different terms or to reevaluate your goals for different terms. But I think being a student, you have a different sort of goal time frame than you do maybe if you're on a normal schedule, so it's really important to take that into account when you're making goals. And I have a whole video on goal setting, but basically the way I like to do goals is I have yearly goals, then I break those down into thirds or quarters, then I do monthly goals and I put those monthly goals into my habits. So you can check out my video if you want to hear more about that. So like I said, building on the goal setting, I know lots of people with that girl think of really cool morning routines or night routines, but if you're trying to build a routine, you need to start small. So like I said, goals are built on habits, and the same thing with routines. You can't just wake up one morning and think, I'm going to add all these 10 new things to my routine. You have to start small. So for example, if you want to start doing yoga in the morning, you might have to wake up earlier because you're not going to have time to do yoga before class if you just start doing it without thinking about what you need to do to achieve that goal or routine. So this means you have to focus on one thing at a time. I think this is so important when you're a student because you don't want to overload yourself and you want to take the time to make these habits feel natural to you. So for example, naturally wanting to wake up earlier since you've been making it a habit. And I have been talking a lot about waking up earlier, and that is my next tip, to wake up earlier. I honestly feel so much better when I do this, and I have to be honest, I do not do this all the time. I definitely love a big sleep in, but especially since we're talking about student lifestyle and everything, I feel like I have so much more time in the day when I do wake up earlier. I don't feel as overwhelmed and like my day's been taken all up by studying if I have more time in the day because I'm waking up earlier. And this might mean you have to make some sacrifices, like obviously you want to be going to sleep earlier. If you're waking up earlier, you want to get enough sleep every day, but you just need to think of what is a priority to you. My next tip is to include small luxuries in your day and in your routines. So these small luxuries are basically little things that make your day feel so much better and that make you feel like you're living in your aesthetic Pinterest board dreams, basically. So these could be things like silk pajamas, face masks, making fancy coffees at home. But I wanted to talk about Coco and Eve as a small luxury because they sent me some products to show you guys. They are all products that help you have beautiful, healthy hair, and they have stuff for all different hair types. So I personally have the Miracle Hair Elixir, which is like a serum that helps keep your hair so soft and shiny, and it also really helps with frizz, and you have to take that from someone who has frizzy hair, and it also helps with heat protection. I then also have the Like a Virgin hair mask, which I actually just used in the shower today. This helps to repair hair and revive damaged hair. It also conditions and tames frizz, and it also helps with split ends. Then I also have the Deep Clean Scalp Scrub. The stimulation of your scalp helps to nourish your hair and support hair growth. I'm just going to show a photo here of how short my hair was, and I mean, you can see, you can't even see it in frame. My hair is so long now, and I definitely think products like this are really helping me to grow my hair out this quickly. These are also all vegan, cruelty-free and paraben-free. These scents are so lovely. They make it smell like you're on holiday, and they are so tropical and nice, and that's one of the things that I think makes this a small luxury and something really cool to add to your routine, because it honestly makes you feel like you're having like a spa at home when you're doing your hair. So yeah, adding small luxuries like this just really help elevate your day, make you feel more put together and make you feel more motivated. My next tip is to eat things that make you feel good. So I think when you're a student, and especially if you're living in student accommodation, you might have limited fridge space. You really need to focus on meal planning or grocery planning. So this is basically making sure you have a shopping list that includes all the things you want to eat, and perhaps meal planning, like I said, and making sure you have all the ingredients for the things you want to cook. I think having a look on Pinterest and getting inspiration for recipes is so good, and if you have all the nice ingredients you want for recipes, then you can make the things you're inspired to make. And also, if you only have a small fridge space, then it's really good to be efficient and say you've bought one ingredient, using that for multiple meals. And if you have healthy ingredients or ingredients that inspire you, it is so easy to eat food that makes you feel really good. My next tip is to move your body. Now, I'm not saying you have to work out all the time. I'm totally not like that. I only started going to the gym properly this year, and you really have to do it when you're in a good headspace, and that's why it's been perfect for me this year. But with online classes, or I know I've had a lack of classes because of strikes, it is so important to just get outside and get some movement going, even if it's not a workout. So like I said before, adding things to a routine, like if you do have class, walking to class, or going on walks with friends, or just doing something to get outside is so helpful. I also love it because it's really good as part of like time for yourself, and doing something purely for yourself, it's almost a bit selfish, and like I said, a bit of a luxury to have the time to focus on you like that. So that's why I think it's a great thing to add to your sort of that girl student routine. My next tip is to have hobbies that serve you, but basically just hobbies that make you feel good. They don't necessarily have to be productive, but they're just things that really make you feel good after you've done them. So for example, I love watching Netflix, but that isn't necessarily a hobby that makes me feel good afterwards. So I make sure I have hobbies that do make me feel motivated and sort of empowered, although it is productive to take time for yourself. So Netflix, I'm not saying it's not a productive hobby, you just want to have a nice mix of both. And I also think hobbies that are great for your mental health, like reading, cooking, sport, or doing crafty things like art, they're so useful, and they're definitely all hobbies that will help serve you and be a great part of your routine. And it's also great when you're a student to take a break from the work, because being that girl is all about having balance. You want to have a social and a work balance, you want to have a fun and a work balance, you want to have a nice balance of them all, and having hobbies for yourself is such a great way to do that. And my final tip is to have a clean space. And now, like I said, I do try my best to follow these, but I'm not always perfect. But I have been listening to Trinity Tondeleer's podcast, The Wellness Cafe, and she always talks about doing 15-minute cleans, and that has been changing my life. Just taking 15 minutes of your day, which is such a short time, to just do everything you can, and then once the timer goes off, just to put down everything and continue with what you're doing, just really helps to organize and clean your space. Another cleaning tip is to have a cleaning schedule. So for example, every Thursday you might vacuum, or when you take your clothes off, put them straight away rather than putting them on the floor, because that just adds an extra step. I think this is really important because an organized space allows you to have an organized mind, and it just stops you from having any barriers of wanting to do things during your day. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed a couple tips on how to be that girl while you're a student, specifically at university. I really hope this video inspired you, and if you guys have any tips, do leave them down below. And yeah, please do like if you did like this video, and please do comment, and I would love to see you next time, so please do subscribe, and thank you again just so much for watching.